Poker? I hardly even know her. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Xerath Prevails. We're going to talk about speed hacks, and that's not like a way to cheat in this game, I promise. That's not what I'm into. I want to talk about if you don't have fast enough mods, which none of us really do, but especially if the people who don't have good speed mods, go farm them, because that's a really important part of the game. It really is. But in the interim, here are some good speed hacks to be able to help you on your way. This is going to be an epic, awesome video. We're going to have 5 different teams. I'll show you the mechanics and how they actually work. We're going to show footage as well, and then I'm also going to give you a few other bonus ideas just to help you, get the juices spinning. Does juices spin? I'm not sure. I guess like if you're at, if you're like at a juice shop, it seems like maybe juices might spin in the various apparatus that they're going to be contained in. But however, we're going to talk about this. So because it's going to be so epic, why don't you just preload this thing with thumbs up buttons, pressings, and comments in the comments area, things that help us mount the algorithm. I really appreciate you guys. Let's go right now. We're kind of rushed on time. Let's get moving. We're gonna go to the game first, and then we're gonna show some footage. So first off, whoa, we're in the game? Madness. yes, we're in the game. Shut up. Okay, so we've got the first one is going to be General Grievous, and there's 2 different kind of things that you can do with Grievous, and I really want to stay away from trying to just increase your actual speed. We're trying to like avoid that, just looking at turn meter manipulation and being able to make sure that you're getting bonus turns. However, it does bear to mention, of course, that BB-8 does have this roll with the punches. No, well, he does have that, but he also gives all the droids at the start 8% turn meter for each active droid ally. That means that General Grievous gains, if he's with a full droid team with BB-8, then he gains 40% turn meter. My General Grievous had 270 speed, which is, you need good mods to be able to keep this level of health and this level of speed and have some potency, etc. But if you do all of this, 270 speed on him equates to 450 speed turn meter wise. Now that's not really what I wanted to focus on. However, Newt Gunray is the other one that you want to have, and generally you take Newt instead of BB-8. And what happens is Newt Gunray, he has this mechanic where when he dies, then he's just immediately revived with 100% health, and he gains turn meter, but he gains stealth as well. So someone kills Newt, and then he comes back to life. That's great. But what the really cool thing about it is when you have General Grievous's unique here, whenever a droid or separatist ally is defeated, now this is a Zeta, whenever they're defeated, General Grievous dispels all debuffs on himself, resets all ability cooldowns, and gains 1 bonus turn, which is pretty neat. It just means he can do his blender move. It's kind of like he's trying to make juice himself, though it's all like cowderized juice, so I don't know what that means. Anyways, it's a really cool ability to make that work. Now, General Grievous, has a bunch of different strategies, and we're not going to go cover all of them right now, but one of them includes his own guys dying, and then he retakes the initiative. And when Newt dies, then a lot of times someone, he'll be able to start everything going. So you start with Newt and Magna Guard. A lot of times your opponent's going to shoot Newt, kill him, but Newt won't die, so he'll still have utility, and General Grievous will start to take a turn. So let's actually jump into the video here, and I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so this is a little bit strange of an instance, but because the Wampa just doesn't really care. Okay, so Magna Guard dies, and Grievous takes a turn, and this is a bad example just because it's showing how futile all of this is. But you see, Grievous got another AoE turn, and now watch Newt here, guys. Okay, so he finally kills Newt. Newt is back to life. He's just in stealth, just like we showed. And then now Grievous, with his arms flung wide. Jeez, that's cool. That's a cool pause. But he gets another turn. So this doesn't pan out for Grievous in the long term. You guys probably want to use him on offense, frankly, if you're going to try to use this. But it is just that mechanic at work. And a lot of times it can help him reclaim the initiative. The Wampa just has too much of a material advantage, and in this case, N is just going to literally rip his arms off and then try to, I mean, the only person he can eat from this team is Newt, so eventually Newt does die, but I mean, that's fine as well. We can all be okay with that. Now, we're going to talk next about this. We're going to talk next about a Maul team, guys. Gotta catch them all. So this is an interesting one in terms of mechanics as well. So remember, you don't need any speed for this particular strategy to work. You probably want a couple other Mandalorians on the team, and then you need Watt, and you need Canderous. But if you take Maul, there's a couple things that are going on. So he starts with Frenzy. So Frenzy just means you take, if someone on your team gets a special, uses a special, then he immediately, while he has Frenzy, he immediately takes a bonus turn. Or rather, it's not a bonus turn, it's actually 100% turn meter, which is important, because if he is dazed in some way, or, you know, if he's stunned or whatever, like, I guess he'll gain the turn meter and kind of take the turn, but he doesn't just immediately take the turn. If he's dazed, he just doesn't get the turn at all. He doesn't get the turn meter. So he starts with that. Well, the thing that's awesome about Watt is, at the start of the battle, Watt gains a bonus turn. Bonus turn means he goes before anyone else, except for Han Solo. They wrote that into the code, that Han Solo always shoots first, which is awesome. It's not just like the name of his ability, it's also the reality. If it's two Hans going against each other, then the tiebreaker is speed. If otherwise, if they're the same speed, then it's just a coin flip. However, if there's no Han Solo there, then Watt goes first, and then the next character that would go next, would be Iden Versio, who starts with 100% turn meter. But Watt would go before any of them, would go before Iden or any galactic legend at all. And actually, I have a really good video example of this, because he's going to be facing a galactic legend. Watt goes first. He does one of his specials immediately. And remember, Han wouldn't work with Maul because Han only does a basic to start with. So, I mean, he might work in some other weird build, but not to start triggering that immediate bonus turn stuff. So, you know, with his Frenzy. So Watt is going to go. He puts his special on someone. It doesn't even matter who. Then Maul is going to go. He does his AoE. The AoE, dispels things. He gives him more stacks of stuff. And then, on top of that, though, when under his leadership, if he's the lead, then he calls all the Mandalorians to assist, dealing 50% less damage, blah, blah, blah. And here's the thing about it, though, guys. So all the Mandalorians assist. Canderous has this interesting interaction, though, where this is a bug, so it doesn't work the way it's reading. And to be clear, yes, it's a bug, but CG hasn't fixed this for like years, and at this point it's just part of his kit. I mean, it's like a hidden part of his kit, but keep that in mind while we're reading this. It's not just that we're making the we're not just like abusing a rule thing. Like this is just how it is for now, at least. So whenever an enemy with damage over time effect is damaged by an attack, Canderous gains 8% turn meter. The thing is, it's not just 8% turn meter whenever someone with a dot effect is damaged. It's just any time everyone mass assists and does damage, he gains 8% turn meter. So you can have him extremely slow. Like look how slow my Canderous is. 204 speed. That's not fast at all, but because he gains so much turn meter, because Maul is hitting, Canderous is hitting 3 times with his basic, and then depending on what other Mandalorians you have, they're also hitting. Then he gains so much turn meter, he still goes before people with 400, 500 turn meter or speed. You guys will see, like, my Jedi Master Luke is not slow, and he's gonna go before Jedi Master Luke. So he does his special, which is an AoE, and that triggers Frenzy one more time with Maul, and then he can do all of his attacks. So let me show you guys this in practice, shall I? If I can find the right button. Yay, I found the right button. Okay, so watch how this works, guys. This is with Jedi Master Luke, right around 600-ish speed, maybe a little slower than that. But Watt is going to go first. He does his special, and then Maul immediately gets his turn, does his AoE. Watch Canderous' turn meter here. And Canderous goes now. Before, you'll note, my Jedi Master Luke still hasn't gone. And because Canderous just did his AoE, Maul immediately, look at his turn meter, he's going to go again. He has the 5 stacks of Anguish, and he's able to go. Now, this is probably, a Galactic Legend is probably too much for all this, but for him to actually take. But look at Canderous as well. Look at how much turn meter Canderous has. So, I mean, it's just worth noting, guys, that even though this doesn't necessarily work out for this Maul team, they still, look at how many turns they got before my 600 speed Jedi Master Luke. Like, that they're going to be able to destroy a lot of teams that aren't Galactic Legends if you do this. And honestly, actually, Maul is, in fact, a counter to Jedi Master Luke in a lot of different builds. So, it's pretty cool if you can be the controlling player on offense. So you don't need any speed on that team, and you can still go first. All right, let's move to our next one. That's still Maul, though, dude. All right. So next one is going to be Bad Batch with Shaak Ti. Now, you still want Hunter as the lead, and you have all these cool turn meter mechanics. Here's the thing, you can get Echo pretty quick, but he's not going to keep up with some of the other teams out there with all the different speed boosts. So he's 361. If you decide they want to be crazy and use Shaak Ti lead, she'll give him another 35 speed, and that's fine. But you don't want to do that in this case because Bad Batch have under Hunter lead are really cool. They do a lot of really cool stuff. So what you really want to do is make use of this Shaak Ti move here. So whenever Shaak Ti or a clone trooper ally takes damage from an attack, Shaak Ti gains 20% turn meter. So let's go into the game again, or at least into the video here, and I'll show you guys how this works. So this is against Kyle Katarn, who's effectively over 400 speed, much faster than my Echo is. So we don't have Omega on the squad, and I know a lot of people will be chuckling because they think I don't like Omega, but I do like her. In fact, she's pretty fancy. But watch how this works. Watch Shaak Ti's turn meter. She's not 400 speed. But watch her turn meter. So Rebel fighters all hit, and Shaak Ti now gets a turn, despite the fact that the Rebel fighters would all normally have been getting a turn. She gets one first. She can just hand the turn to Echo here, and Echo immediately then, so they do some attacks. Echo can dispel everything. That gives everyone else turn meter, and then after that, it's a simple matter of stunning everyone, and then giving everyone defense up, and essentially just melting the team. But you needed Shaak Ti to be able to get there. And she doesn't need to be super fast. Mine tend to be super fast, and, my Echo's fast. All this stuff, you need maybe a tiny bit of speed to keep up. But you can just melt the team. It's not a big deal, folks. So that's going to be a really important part of our strategy moving forward on my channel, certainly. All right, so Shaak Ti with Bad Batch. Nice little hack there. She can work with other clones doing similar things, but I really like this one specifically because Echo just shuts teams down so hard when he finally gets to go. And then Tech immediately gives everyone turn meter. Echo gives everyone turn meter. Tech stuns everyone. It's a mess. All right, next we're not going to show an actual example of this, but Beskar is one that you can mess around with. You don't need him to be super fast against a lot of teams. You just need for someone to not kill him instantly. And I mean, we could probably show an example with Iden Versio. In fact, maybe I will. Hold on a sec, guys. Okay, I prepped the video, guys. We're going to show you guys, but first I'll show you the mechanics. So what happens is he can be kind of slow, and you still get a bonus turn immediately if the first time each scoundrel ally falls below 75% health, Mandalorian dispels all debuffs on himself, gains 1 stack of Whistling Birds, and takes a bonus turn. It's very similar to the way Grievous works. It doesn't reset all cooldowns, except it does reset all cooldowns on Wonder of the Force, which Wonder of the Force is this thing that starts on cooldown actually, but it provides damage immunity and stuff. And so immediately he gets to start protecting his team, and he can do that in cool ways. And so let's show you guys the actual video. So I went through the effort of doing it. So here it is. Iden Versio. Doesn't matter how fast you are, Iden Versio will always take a turn before you unless you're Watt or Han. So she's going to hit our pre-taunt, and notice all this damage that they did to IG-11. It triggers Bam, even though Bam isn't super duper fast. I mean, he's pretty fast for what he does, but he's certainly not faster than all these troopers. He's only like 270 speed, and he still gets his turn meter, bonus turn meter, so he can actually just make IG-11 a damage immune, and then the rest of the team gets to go because we just kind of interrupted the flow of their turns. And so he kind of just interjects. Sometimes he does his Whistling Bird stuff, whatever, but he's a character that can get a turn in, and he doesn't need to be super fast. Sometimes, I mean, my Quill is really fast, but you don't always need to go first. He just needs to make sure he can interject and kind of stop the momentum of the other team. So it's a good way to do things, guys. It really is. Now, let's talk about the next team here. And let's see, this is the final one before we go into the so-called speed round. This is the Traya squad with Nihilus and Scion. So there's a couple different things that are going on here. So there's different effects that happen every time you hit one of these guys. But Nihilus, what happens with him, let's see, when allied Darth Scion or Traya are inflicted with a debuff, Nihilus gains 10% turn meter, and he gains a bunch of max health, which is kind of funny how high his health can be, and then it almost never ever matters because there's so many ways to negate that max health. But so he gains the extra turn meter, and I actually don't know how great my example is going to be here, guys. I think maybe he just dodged a slight bullet, but I'm going to show you guys anyways for fun. We can all determine together. You guys can vote in the comments. That's what we can do. So here we go, guys. We're facing a dash team, and they're all hit, and then just stagger on everyone except for Nihilus. For some reason it didn't stick on Nihilus. And then of course, so he gained a bunch of turn meter. He got a word in edgewise finally, and he's able to go before them because their stagger was triggered. So maybe not the best example, but everyone, Scion and Traya were both triggered. The other thing to point out, though, guys, is that Barris, on top of this, is also gaining 10% turn meter every time they get hit. And, I mean, the other part of all of this is that Traya has an amazing way of just keeping her team alive for a long time. It's just, this is the ultimate squad that allows you to just survive despite not being fast enough. If you look at Traya's kit, there you can read her leadership. I'm not going to read it to you guys, but there's a ton of things that penalize the opponent's team for going and working together, and she gives everyone extra crit avoid, she gives everyone potency, she penalizes teams for getting to take turns, or getting turns at all, and it's just a cool thing. You just jump in with a slower Traya, and it doesn't matter hardly at all because they just take their hits, and then they brush them off, and they destroy you. So, a lot of fun. Nihilus does get that cool little thing there. It wasn't the best example, I will admit, but there it is, guys. Here's our bonus round. So, Wampa is the first one, and just keep in mind this is in the context of an omicron on him, and he's just soloing characters and teams, poning noobs, etc. So he's got all sorts of really cool things that he's getting. He gets all this stacking tenacity, all this stuff, but then he also gains bonus turn meter when he hits them. I believe, is it Wamp? so if the target was debuffed, he gains 20% turn meter. If Wampa isn't debuffed, he gains 20% turn meter. So Wampa won't be debuffed, he'll gain 20%. If your opponent is debuffed, which he generally is going to be because of the dots that they're inflicting on themselves, he gains another 20%. And so he's gaining 40% turn meter every time he gets hit. And so my Wampa is super slow. And you guys saw in that General Grievous example, that whole team went before Wampa, and Wampa just still destroyed them because he doesn't care. He just counters them to death and eventually gets the win. Fives is another example of being able to take turns a lot because let's see, this isn't the right one. So he gains 15% turn meter whenever another clone trooper or 501st ally takes damage, and half that amount. So he's gaining 15% turn meter, and so against any team, as long as he's allowed to gain turn meter, he's the fastest character on the team, even as he has really slow mods. So he gets a lot of turn meter, pretty nice stuff. Jedi Knight Anakin has his cool ability that whenever another ally falls below 50% health or is defeated, Anakin takes a bonus turn. So you guys have seen the Omicron Qui-Gon Jinn teams. That's one of the things that Anakin does. Certainly, he just goes crazy and blows up the enemy team because someone dies or someone goes below 50% health, and he just gets a bonus turn. So, pretty nice stuff. His ship does the same thing, actually. Han is just, we've talked about him a few times. Yeah, he shrugs. He's like, what? You gonna talk about me? He gets to shoot first. He always gets a bonus turn. Han takes a bonus turn at the start of each encounter, so he goes before Watt does, and he gets to go first. If you want the ultimate jumpstart to your team, look no further than Han Solo. Admiral Piett has a pretty sneaky thing here, guys. A lot of people don't realize this, but it's very dangerous. If you ever see Imperial troopers on defense, guys, there can be some, you need to be real cautious here. Piett gains 5% turn meter whenever another enemy or Empire ally takes damage. So remember, if someone does an AoE, he's going to gain 25% turn meter, and he's already really fast. So you have to be real cautious when facing this team. And 5% turn meter doesn't seem like much, but if they're on defense and you're like, oh, I barely outspeed them, you need to do something pretty fancy to make sure that he doesn't gain bonus turn meter, whether it is some kind of daze or a stun or something. You don't want him to go because he's going to mess you up. Once he takes a turn, he's going to mess you up. All right, the final 5 guys, and we do actually, hold on. All right, so BlueStacks crashed. That was great. Oh, you guys got to see a sneak peek. First is we're going to talk about Paploo here. Paploo, you guys have heard me talk about him a lot. He gains plus 25% speed whenever he does not have the taunt active. So one thing that my friend and viewer Connacht actually mentioned was you can use him if you have a really fast Paploo, and my main account doesn't really have a fast one, but if you do have a really fast Paploo, then you can use him as a pre-taunt in a way. So here, let me show you guys the example. I use this on my Prevail Man account because he's got a really fast Paploo, and it kind of wasted the Ewok team that he normally is on a little bit, but if I can actually find the button. That's not the button. Here it is. So the idea here, guys, under this Gidme team is trying to make sure that we're just trying to snipe one character out, but their Darth Revan is faster than anyone else, and so Padme is immune to fear. And so if you have a pre-taunt, which that account just doesn't really have any pre-taunts, annoyingly, I need to get some, but I don't care about the pre-taunt being able to take turns. I need Padme and R2 and Shaak Ti and Gideon all to go in the right turn order. So you can use a really fast Paploo to kind of hack this a little bit, if we can actually find the right button to, all right, let's watch this. So we're waiting and we're waiting. come along, go into battle. You can see they're fighting a Darth Revan team, and they're fast. The Darth Revan team is faster. We just want Darth Revan. We can't let them have loaded turn meter. We can't let that happen. We need to snipe out their Basti, and then we're gonna lose this. But what ends up happening is Paploo is faster than everyone because of his mechanics, and being able to go first, it enables him to be able to take that first hit from Darth Revan when he goes. And when Darth Revan does finally go, then Padme isn't feared. But, Paploo is feared, but we don't care about him. And then that enables the rest of our team to actually go instead of letting them hit the leader. So it's kind of a weird niche way of approaching things. But at the same time, I mean, we're able to eventually clear this team, I believe. I'm just trying to see if if the sound from the video itself is playing. I don't think it does. So we're not going to waste time watching the rest of this. You guys can watch me use my Prevail Man account to do it. You know what? I'll let you guys see this. We'll just wait for a minute. We're already over 20 minutes, so I'm just taking my time trying to figure out exactly what to do. We just need to snipe out Basti. That's what we need to do here. And, this whole Gidme thing. We have all these stacks of courage, and we can just call everyone to assist, and hopefully take out Basti, and then eventually everyone will die. But there we go. We got our stacks of courage. Paploo served his purpose, and another happy landing. Let's go to the next thing, guys. So we've got old Daka. She's got this thing where every time an ally is defeated, she gains 50% turn meter, and her allies die a lot. So, I mean, Night Sisters all actually have, Night Sisters in terms of Asajj, Talzin, and old Daka all have different good mechanics for when their opponent, or when their own guys, and when their opponents reach certain health thresholds, including death, that they gain a bunch of turn meter, and that's kind of how you can just jump in with Night Sisters and be the slowest, and things are still fine sometimes. Now, Jedi Revan has a really cool thing where he has Savior, and what happens is the first time another Jedi ally would be reduced to 1% health, if Revan is active, they recover 100% of their max health and protection, gain critical immunity, they take a bonus turn, dispel all debuffs on themselves, blah, 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 blah. So, Jedi Revan can abuse this in the terms of, like, okay, I'm the slowest one here, I'm very slow, and my Jedi Revan's not like super slow, but he's slow enough that he can't keep up with the current speed meta. But if they're so fast that they kill him immediately, he takes his first turn and gains some advantage. So let's see, wrong button once again. Here, guys, so against Supreme Leader Kylo, the entire counter to this fight is predicated on him killing Jedi Revan. So Jedi Revan's gone. The rest of Supreme Leader Kylo's team should be going next, but Jedi Revan gets to go next. He gets to hand the turn to Luke, and Luke can stun everyone, and suddenly we have the advantage in the initiative, not them. Alright, almost done here, guys. Jawa Scavenger's one, where whenever someone hits someone with Scavenger here, let's see, this isn't this thermals. Yeah, so at the end of the turn, if Jawa ally was damaged by an attack that turn, then Scavenger has an 80% chance to inflict 2 thermal detonators for 2 turns on each enemy that used an ability during that turn. So you can just melt teams that have a high assist rate. Now you can do this to Maul, you can do this to Mon Mothma. It doesn't necessarily matter. You do need some good relics on him, but you don't need much speed. Like, use Basti or Barriss lead, and it's pretty handy. They survive for a really long time. They don't really need to be fast at all. You can see my Scavenger is not fast. He's just built for as much survivability as possible. Iden Versio is the last one, I think, guys. Maybe she's the second to last, but yeah, so this is just the obvious. She gains 100% turn meter. So in the hierarchy of speed, guys, it goes Han, then Wat, then Iden, then all the Galactic Legends. So she's gonna go, she's always gonna be like one of the very fastest. And I mean, when she first came out, I thought that she was just gonna be a great, Crap, I loaded turn meter, what do I do? Like, she was gonna bail us out, and now of course she's just this monster on defense, so we don't see her as much on offense, but she still can play that role. She just goes in, has 100% turn meter. She also gives her team a bunch of speed and everything, and a bunch of resilience. Great character. You know. So, alright guys, what else did I miss? We need to stop this video. I would love to hear what your thoughts are. I know there's a few characters I skipped over. So, guys, thank you all so much for watching. And remember that in all things, Xerath prevails. And you can too, guys. Go get speed mods. And if you don't, use this guide. Do both.